Right, so for digital business, which is our module, next is the team members, which is Maisara Amir, our team leader, C-Chair, Abdul Rahman, myself, John Eric Abundo, and Austin Fien. So on the category of business module for Sheng Siong, this is the business module for Sheng Siong, which consists of 3 main outer points and 3 inner points, which is value proposition, the value chain, and the revenue model. So for value proposition, it's basically Sheng Siong is a supermarket that is very price competitive, and it supplies to the daily essentials of the local Singaporeans. For value chain, it is the advertisement, which is there's a list of events or advertisement platforms that is used by Sheng Siong frequently and hard on, which is the Sheng Siong show, which it's a weekly show, newspaper, radio advertisements, flyers to houses, and television. Lastly is the revenue model, which goes to the point of the supplier, which Sheng Siong has a strong supply chain, locally and internationally. Next, on the value proposition point, Sheng Siong has been actively engaging its consumers via online platform, which is this platform since 2016. So they have been digitally inclined since 2016, using such platforms for the supply chain. Sheng Siong does have its own unique e-commerce mobile app, which updates you on the current promotions Sheng Siong offers, and it is user-friendly, and it has a user-friendly interface, which is the Sheng Siong Connect. It caters to the price-sensitive and more traditional customer segments in Singapore, which means to say that they focus on the brands that are more on the favourite list of Singaporeans, I would say. Revenue model, which is the advertisement like what was from the previous slide. They also have a dominant presence in suburban areas. They try to be present physically, Sheng Siong store in almost every neighborhood possible. Competitive pricing, comparing to NTUC and all the other supermarket chain that is in Singapore, they are the top 3. The product range and also the shelving location, which they provide to the brands. Market opportunity, which is split into 2 sections, which is behavioral and geographical. Behavioral, loyalty to the brands. Based on the survey, the brands that is available in Sheng Siong has a very strong loyalty with its consumers. The spending habits, as we spoke about, price competitiveness. The spending habits of Singaporeans generally, they want the cheapest and the best product. Browsing habits, shopping physically or even online. Browsing habit is very important to spark interest in the product that is of interest of that particular consumer. Geographical, regional location for expansion, as Sheng Siong plans to expand abroad beyond Singapore. E-commerce is a booming era and a platform, as what we have experienced recently with COVID-19. Most and many of companies shift their focus to online shopping for their e-commerce, mainly. It's easy access to suppliers due to location advantage. So it suppliers locally and internally, and their external suppliers are around the region of Singapore, which is not of a concern for during times where supplies might be low. Lastly, competitive environment. Sheng Siong has indeed proven to be one of the strong contenders within the local supermarket sectors in Singapore, as it is the top 3 supermarket chain in Singapore. Some of the awards that has been given to Sheng Siong is Best of the Best Retail Award, Super Brand Award, and People's Association Community Spirit Awards. One more competitive environment and advantage for Sheng Siong is that it is born and bred in Singapore. It is a locally trusted brand.
Okay, so this is the market strategy for Sheng Siong. Sheng Siong actually do have a lot of store island-wide. As of today, Sheng Siong have 61 shop. Yeah, so the reason why Sheng Siong have so many shop island-wide is because the owner does want to ensure that everybody in the neighborhood area is able to access to their supermarket. Okay, and also Sheng Siong advertise themselves through every day Saturday the 9 p.m. the Sheng Siong show. This is to ensure that everybody is able to buy cheap stuff, and also at the same time they can gain lots of money, and also the Sheng Siong is able to promote their shop, their brand well, and also most of their items sold in Sheng Siong is cheap, is because they do have their own supplier, either locally and also internationally. Yeah. As you can see, the organization structure, Sheng Siong do adopt a multi-level organization structure. Sheng Siong, in fact, Sheng Siong do their own logistics, their warehouse, and also employ employee, and ensure that each of them is able to utilize their full potential. Yeah. So for the management team, they do, as the World Organization goal, they do have 17 goals, but for Sheng Siong, they do focus on these 5 goals: business excellence, care for customer, care for employee, community, and also care for the environment.
Hi, my name is Sarah, and I'll be talking to you about competitive advantage. What is competitive advantage? It is basically allowing the company to produce goods or services at a more cost-effective manner in comparison to how their rivals or competitors do it. This would give them a higher margin of profit. So in order to go through competitive advantage, we would have to first understand our market position, in which Sheng Siong would like to position itself in the market as the most comprehensive and accessible supermarket, meaning that whatever you need, you can get it in Sheng Siong, A to Z. And whatever that you need in Sheng Siong, wherever you are in Singapore, in every neighborhood, they aim to have one Sheng Siong. So they want to be a household name. So that would be the market position that they like to acquire. For market share, Sheng Siong is in the retail industry. They are a supermarket business. So the top 3 supermarket players have been NTUC, the red line, 56% of the market share, and then Cold Storage and Giant, which form together Daily Farm, they're at 19.5% of Singapore's market share, and very closely to them is Sheng Siong, they're at 18.9%. It's almost 0.5% away from each other. So they are very, very close to overtaking the second spot, and they would like to make a leap forward towards NTUC, which would be a challenge because NTUC has been with Singapore since the beginning of time. So Sheng Siong have to also understand and concrete their strength. They have a number of strengths that is worth mention, such as number 1, reasonable price. It's very competitive. As they started in the neighborhood, in the heartlands, they have their price has always been friendly towards the wallets of the mass population. They've also acquired a very high good service rating. This is also because you have a very conducive work environment which the employees are really well taken care of. As mentioned in the previous slide, they're the top 3 supermarkets in Singapore. So that means every household would know who they are and would prefer to go to them. They have been winning awards consecutively, internationally, regionally, and locally. So they are politically established because their management team has a few team members who has a background in AVA. So that gives them an advantage of understanding the local government ties and also how they can incorporate that in their company. They have good relationship with neighboring countries, so meaning that if anything were to happen within Singapore, they'll be able to attain the supply from the other countries around us because we have a similar staple of diet. They are actually moving towards digitalization because it's the way of the norm for the young people growing up. Because of the relationship of the neighboring countries, they have a high bargaining power and they have a variety of selections.
For current consumer purchasing journey, we have chosen to go with web grooming. Web grooming has 5 different categories, first being awareness. And in awareness, consumers are made aware of Sheng Siong through advertising mediums such as traditional media like TV shows, radio, newspapers, awards, and live promotion, and also through social media, a more modern approach where they go through Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. The next one is consideration. Consumers' consideration to purchase really depends on how user friendly the platforms that Sheng Siong has for the consumers when they would like to purchase something from them. It also depends on how much information is readily available for these consumers when they would like to know more about the products that they are selling. And this will affect the decision for consumers to purchase because the next one is actually purchase. Once the consumer has made a decision to purchase based on the consumer's research online, he then makes a trip down to the physical store instead and decides to purchase knowing what he or she already wants to buy. And all of these results in the remaining two categories, which is retention and advocacy. For retention, this is where Sheng Siong will uh, work out a plan in order to keep the customers and buy from them again. This is through awarding consumers with the point systems and subscriptions of different schemes that they have, which results in discounts, free purchases, and whatnot. And it is really about trying to keep the customer that you have stay loyal with the brand that you have. And for the last one, advocacy, this is where you inspire the consumers to participate actively in the brand, in the motivation and the goals of the organization, and you get them to go to your events, to go to your sponsorship, or give charity, uh, give participate in charity drives with the brand. And this is where you get the consumers to physically participate with any type of schemes or any type of awards uh, that you have, and this will result in a cycle that will keep consumers coming back to purchase from your brand.